Hello everyone, welcome to Weekend Rental, episode 131. We are your gaming and geek culture podcast. As always, my name is Ryan, and I'm joined by Andy.
Hey.
Right, if you enjoy our content, head on over to geekade.com where you're going to find podcasts on video games, music, comics, TV, movies, and so much more. Geekade.com, what's your geek? Well, another episode. We, in full disclosure to our listeners, we had been to prepare. We ambitiously talked about meeting and prepping, kind of reformatting, revitalizing, retooling the show. So we thought, what better way to do that than in between episodes, get online and play a video game as a group. And for whatever sick, sad reason, we chose Power Wash Simulator.
You figure, that's just one that you could just chill out and talk about some other things,
Right. Not a lot going on. You go zen. You just have conversations, all well intended. We got about an hour in, roughly, I'd say, to this mission. Had been BSing and joking the whole time before really getting into any productive conversation. And we got to 85% of the level completion when my internet provider decided to just screw me royally. So I lost all my hard work. From what I understand, you and Biff got a platinum trophy.
Yeah, like the special diamonds that are like, this is a rare one or whatever, because not a lot of people have done this.
Yeah, not heard about that at all.
It was. We were wondering if we were going to come back, and we figured it would be pretty funny if after Generation Zero already being the clusterfuck that was, and how that got you, that we would finish this. But without you as well.
I don't know what it is with this podcast and this crew, but it just like fucks me royally every time. So I spent like the 30 minutes following that, like disconnecting wires, resetting routers, resetting modems in a desperate attempt, switching out Cat 5 cables, thinking that was going to do anything because my internet provider said, no, there's no problem. It says we're good in your area. So I call them back the next day and they're like, oh yeah, as it turns out, as people woke up, we had a massive outage. I'm like, well, no shit. I could have told you that at about 11 o'clock last night when I reported it. So not pleased. And then you sent me the video of the completion and I was just like, son of a, and then the worst part, and I think I told you guys, was like, my wife works from home. She has since pandemic time. So like I'm troubleshooting, doing everything I can. And I throw in the flag, like midnight comes around. I'm like, can't do it. So I have to go upstairs, get into bed. And I'm like, waking up my wife, I was like, I'm going to tell you something. You can't yell at me because I've spent a lot of time troubleshooting this. You're going to have to go into the office tomorrow. We have no internet. I'm sorry. And it turns out she had like a 7 a.m. presentation. And I was like, shit. So yeah, neither of us slept well. She went into the office. It all worked out. And then it turns out, internet provider admitted, yeah, we dropped the ball, massive rolling outage across your area. And I went about a full 12 hours before they resolved the issue. So,
jeez, that's a long outage.
It is a long outage. And you think about all the people that are working from home right now, and that is the number one provider in our area. And I'm sure there were a lot of unhappy people. So yeah, I can't complain too much, but I am still bitter and salty that I missed out on the satisfaction of a job well done because I scrubbed a lot of gnome taint to help get you guys to 100%.
Yeah, I think you did most of the gnomes. So
yeah, I think I found my groove with that. Yeah, that was my thing. Happy gnomes bent over, cleaning them out.
Every nook of that gnome.
Is it weird to say that, like, I think I appreciated that game more as a multiplayer experience?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's probably one of the best features of it, right? Because, I mean, it really is just like hang out and do whatever at that point.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And Biff is a giant slacker. He's like the guy that's like, he'd clean the bathroom at work, but he'd leave like the paper towel on the floor. Like, what? I wiped the sink. It's like, no. That wasn't the job, man. You gotta get it all.
yeah, it's about, pride in the job, really.
Right. No pride with that guy. No pride.
Yeah, but he got the achievement and you didn't. So I guess
that's not helping the rage level over here. I'm telling you, it's not helping. Yeah.
So
it was fun though.
Yeah. I can talk a little bit about. I finished that game last night. The career
really?
Mode. Yes.
Okay.
And that last level, holy shit! You're basically doing the inside and outside of a gigantic pyramid. And it took a few days to get that one done, but now I think I'm over the itch. Like I'm done cleaning. Like I would hop in with you guys and do more if we want to do that. But sure. I'm not like driven to be like, oh, I need to go clean this off just for whatever satisfaction that gave me. But
so did you ever hit like that giant story payoff, like with all the weird storylines?
Yes.
Or is there nothing?
Yes. So spoilers for the end of the story for Power Washing Simulator.
The riveting first-person action adventure.
Which the story is told all in basically text message bubbles on the side of your window. But the ending of that game is there is a gigantic volcano that is going to erupt. And you find out it's kind of the mayor drilling into the volcano that's causing this. So, there's a whole bunch of ways that you're trying to stop it. You somehow find this statue that if you clean the statue, it stops at one time, but they keep drilling it and then it's exploding some more. And then one of your jobs is like, hey, you need to go clean this RV again. Like this big Winnebago that you've already done. But when you get there, it's just a Winnebago in the desert. And I'm like, oh, okay, is this Breaking Bad? I don't know. But it looked clean. And then you walk up to it and it just transforms into a alien spaceship.
Oh.
That is all dirty. And they're like, hey, we're from the future. We're coming to the past to warn you about this volcano that if it erupts, you're all going to die. But we're in the desert and this thing's dirty. You need to clean off our spaceship so we can keep going.
So they basically ripped off Star Trek Picard and was like, this is our story now.
Yeah. So you clean that off and then they go off into space or whatever. And then the next mission is this gigantic pyramid temple thing. And as you're cleaning it up, it's like an Aztec pyramid all the murals and everything in there is of a power, like some god that's the god of power washing. And all the murals are like all the jobs that you've already done up until this point.
So you're the god, essentially?
Yeah, you're the god. You're the power washing god.
Nice.
And you're trying to figure out how this all happened and what's going on. And, when you get to the last bit, there's like, gives you a checklist of like 3 things that you need to do. And one of them is this gem. And I looked all over trying to find this gem, probably a half hour, could not find this gem. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll keep just doing the other things. Finish that. When the gem is the last thing that you need to clean, then the gem shows up, which was bullshit.
Oh.
So you get on top of the pyramid, clean up the gem. Some airplane comes out of like the volcano and starts shooting at you. Meanwhile, you clean up the gem, then the aliens come, shoot down the airplane. The beam comes out of the gem, stops the volcano from erupting.
Is this the end of Metal Slug 5?
It kind of sounds like it, doesn't it? And then the aliens basically are telling you like how they went in the past and told this ancient civilization about how you were going to be the one to save the world and all the exploits that you've done. And they were the one that built this gigantic
Why
for you.
Why was so much thought put into this for Power Wash Simulator? I just don't understand. That's amazing.
Yeah. And then at the end of the game, you get a new nozzle that has 3 sprays on it at the same time. So, but
nice. Well, hopefully you grabbed Epic's Lawnmower Simulator, which I think is still free until Thursday of this week.
Oh, I better get that. Yeah.
Yeah, that probably has an equally impressive story, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm expecting at this point in these simulator games is the story. So.
Yes, the deep, rich, intergalactic stories. Like the fact that somebody put that much thought into it is fucking hilarious.
Yep.
I love it. Love it. Well, I don't think I played much of anything new except, well, I get a couple of games in. So in between the last recording, this one, I got Screenwave Media sent me the Angry Video Game 1 and 2 Deluxe. Did not remember buying that or pre-ordering or had to have been forever ago. Had no idea. It showed up. I was like, what is this? I'm like, okay, it's a good game. I mean, if you like, Contra style platformers or Meat Boys, or it's fine. I've beaten the game. I own it digitally, but it's kind of cool. It comes with a cool reversible like cover art that fits like early AVGN stuff. Random. And then also that showed up out of the mail, which I intentionally ordered and was excited about, was that Klonoa whatever remix, whatever it's called. After I found out that it wasn't getting a physical release in North America through Bandai Namco Co. or Namcot or however you want to call it, depending on where you live, I was like, well, screw it. Like those are games that are worth owning physically. And if they're coming out in a collection and they're $30 digitally, I'm just going to buy them physically. So I went to PlayAsia. There is a PAL version, I think, that has like English text on the cover. I got the very Japanese, can't read it cover, but it pops in, plays in English. There's no region restrictions with the Switch, which is nice. Haven't put a ton of time into it. I started the first game. I mean, it's got a nice visual overhaul. I think there's a lot of people who don't understand why Klonoa is good or impressive. And I think there's people who hit on that early on in the PlayStation life cycle where it's like, all right, like if Nintendo was supporting PlayStation, like this is the quality of like sort of platformer we would get. And that's kind of where I fell in. I mean, I loved and appreciated them for what they were. They certainly, in my opinion, Klonoa 1 and 2 were never at home in Sony's ecosystem because it was largely testosterone driven 14-year-olds, which is fine. But they do exist in very good quality games on great consoles that I think a lot of people overlooked. So I think it's really cool to get a physical collection of these games. And yeah, I was going through probably the first 30, 20 minutes of the first one and looks nice, plays like I remembered. They're kind of quirky, weird games, but man, they're pretty damn cute too,
Yeah. So this one is it an upgrade of the Wii one? Is that
so I don't know. Yeah, that's not been clear because that's true. That's a good point. They did remake the original for the Wii. It feels more like it was just a straight remaster of like the first game and not necessarily a port or a extension of that Wii one, but it is the first 2 games in the franchise. So
sure.
It covers that PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 entry. It would have been cool to see them do some other stuff. Like I know there was like some GBA or Game Boy stuff, plus that Wonder Swan game, which, I mean, if they were going to really go all out and do a collection, it would have been cool to see, but yeah, still really fun.
Is the second one also like a 2D or, like side scroll platformer?
Yeah, and there's also some 3D segments. Like I think the initial demo of that one for the PS2 was like the level where Klonoa was on like a surfboard or like a raft board in the river. You're kind of cruising down and like a 3D perspective. So, but my understanding is most of the game is not full 3D. So,
yeah, that's probably the bummer. Like most of those 2D games just they didn't sell. Like nobody wanted them on the PS1. Yeah,
highly acclaimed. Nobody bought them. Just like Tomba and Tomba 2. Like I still get pissed at myself because like I showed my friends like the demo of Tomba. I was like, Tomba's fucking cool. And I'm like, and the reviews were great. And they're like, this is the lamest shit ever. So I didn't buy it. Like, I wish I had bought it and held on to it because we sit on a gold mine. Plus, they were good games. They were weird, but
yeah. And I mean, but at least that one is like you were marketed right.
Yes,
as a young boy for that game. Whereas Klonoa is like, what is this? I don't know.
I'm not going to buy this. This is Nintendo crap. That's for kids.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, it's... The sad thing is I'm sure it won't sell as well as it probably deserves. And it'll get some critical acclaim, but, you know, it's going to fall under the radar. But the fact that it's on physical format again, it's reasonably affordable because... I mean, I don't know what the PlayStation version goes for, but having recently sold my copy of the PS2 version, I know that game is, I don't know, $120 depending on, you know, whatever the market's at. So it's cool. I'm getting kind of annoyed though that I've got multiple games now in my collection that have like the weird Japanese like naming convention on the side of the spine because it's kind of killing me
on the Switch
shelf.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do they do something different or is it just the kanji that are?
Yeah, it's just the kanji and then the red. So it's like, man, it stands out a lot.
Yeah.
It bothers my OCD, but it was very affordable. I mean, hats off to PlayAsia. You know, they sell it to you for like, what, $5 markup and then $10 shipping. It's not bad. I think I got it for like $45, showed up within a month. So they do a good service.
They've been running a sale lately that you get free like airmail too, like really quick shipping. So I was been kind of browsing there, but just haven't pulled the trigger on some stuff. But
yeah, I was out there looking at some other stuff too, and I almost bought. What was it, the Neo Geo Pocket Collection? And I was like, well, but it's like 7 fighting games, right? Like all I really want to play is Neo Turf Masters, Metal Slug 1 and 2, and that's pretty much it. So
right,
yeah, not for me. Very cool, but not for me.
Yeah.
And I guess Capcom put out that like Arcade Classics 2 Volume 2 thing.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
I've heard that's like 90% fighting, right?
I haven't even looked at it. I heard you get like Sun for free and then the rest you have to like buy piecemeal or something like that.
Right.
But yeah. I don't know.
Weird approach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially because Capcom is very good about releasing other collections like the beat 'em up bundles and the Fighters collection and I don't know, and the Street Fighter collection.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. How many times can you buy Street Fighter?
Right. Well, 85 according to Capcom. So in 20 years we'll be bitching about the Monster Hunter collections, I'm sure. So
yep.
I still keep having arguments with the guy at work because he loves Elden Rings, loves Darkstalkers. Loves all this. I was like, why haven't you played Monster Hunter World? I hate that crap, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's the same shit.
Oh, it's the same stuff. Yeah.
I was like, dude, buy it. I'll restart it with you. We'll play it together. That will be ready for 2. Because like all I want to do is ensure that I have 3 to 4 people who are going to play Monster Hunter World 2 from day one. Because if I don't, shit's going to get hard and I need people to do it. So I can't convince him though. Convince him to do it.
I feel like that the World one, there was I wonder if it was 4 people where it almost got way too hard at 4 people because they just like
the scale. They
scaled it up to 4 and then, you know, most of the time, not all 4 people are banging on this monster.
I felt like we hit our stride because like you and I were like both at like mid game when everybody else abandoned it. And then it was like, okay, 2-player mid game here on out. We managed to do pretty well. There wasn't a whole lot of failure. I mean, there was failure, but then that New Game Plus, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like, but that said, I'm still very excited for like a proper sequel to that. I really want to get back into it with a small group.
I want something that tells you, hey, if you kill this monster, this is what you will get.
No, Monster Hunter won't do that.
This is the thing that you need, and this is the monster. If you kill,
they barely
you will get
tell
this
you what
thing.
Monster to kill. Like they're so vague. Like, we could help you, or you could get fucked. Have fun. Yeah.
That was the end for me. It was grinding and killing the same monster over and over and getting the same shitty stuff that you don't need.
To try and build that set of armor you needed for the next tier. Yeah. They really don't understand like the ease of quality of life improvements at all in that franchise. Yep. And I guess that's kind of what makes it, but man.
Oh yeah. I mean, people get into that type of stuff. I mean, that's why people who play Destiny will play Destiny, where if you got the good stuff all the time right away, then yeah.
Are people still playing Destiny?
Well, Sony must think so if they bought them.
I saw like some of the leaked Forge stuff that seems like Halo Infinite might actually become like relevant for the first time since it released. So that seems cool.
That's not out yet, or no?
No, Forge isn't out. It got kind of leaked early, and people are building racetracks. They're building PT demos. They're building it looks a lot like Unity.
Wow.
Or not Unity, but Unreal. It looks a lot like how that works. And it could probably be what that game needs, and probably needed from the get-go.
Well, it needs co-op too.
Yes, 100%. But it needs a reason to be relevant, and it hasn't had that since it launched. So could be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I still haven't even hopped into that game yet.
At all?
Nope.
Yeah. You did like the first 4 hours, and I was like, no, this needs co-op. My son needs to play with me. I'm not coming back until it has co-op. And
yeah, that's kind of the way I was thinking too.
Yeah.
It almost has been, hasn't it? Jeez.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, holiday season. So my son and I are we still... Yeah, we're still like third act probably of ODST. So
all right.
I can be ready to go within like a couple weekends if I need it. But
what's the holdup? Like they can't make it happen? That's weird. Because almost a year just for a feature like that.
Yeah, it sounds like development resources, and there's been articles coming out with this Forge leak about how the main campaign in World was like massively scaled down to try and like cram it into a launch, which I don't know. I mean, I get it. You need a killer launch title, but like to neuter your holy grail in the sake, I mean, they've done it before, Halo 2, of course, but probably not the best choice. I mean, Sony has basically survived on a console for 2 years also that has had like jack shit for good IPs. So I don't think Xbox would have been hurt by it.
They're just remaking their shit.
Yeah, what's the big blockbuster for this season? Like the Spider-Man reboot or like their deluxe?
I think God of War comes out this year, right?
Sure, but who does that appeal to? Like, that's not
PS4 owners as well.
Well, and PC owners in a year. Yeah. That's true. I don't know. I mean, I liked God of War for I liked what it attempted. I stand by, and even Horizon Zero Dawn in the same way. I like the ambition. I like the scope. If you don't make the gameplay fun and engaging, though, just make me a movie and sell it to me on,
a
DVD. And that's how I feel about those. And maybe I'm an asshole, but I don't know. But what else are we looking forward to? Bayonetta 3, that's coming out on Switch. That'll be fine. That'll be 8 hours of our time. Xbox has nothing for fall and winter. Is there an exclusive release? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Trying to think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is where the pandemic stuff is really like crushed development, because now it's just like nobody has anything ready.
No development. Consoles are just finally getting into store shelves on the regular.
Yeah.
And there's still no reason to. mean, Game Pass is still a nice filler, but and, you look at video game sales and like how Q2, the market went down like 14% in the US. And it's like, well, yeah, this is why. There's still stuff coming up for the Switch, but it's stagnated and nobody's buying that.
Yeah.
There's still no reason to buy the other next gen consoles, even though this podcast owns some. There's no reason to be excited about games in the next 6 months, which is shit, really.
It's pretty sad. Yeah. Yeah. Like Activision just came out and did their, quarterly earnings or whatever. And it was basically like, yeah, Diablo Immortal did not do what we wanted it to do. It's like, well, no shit.
Are you kidding me? Also, people don't like Overwatch 2. Okay, weird. Didn't see that coming.
Yep. Did you see that story about the guy who spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in Diablo Immortal?
No.
So, and he barely got anything good out of it, but he did get enough. But now his problem is that there's nobody else that is high enough grade to matchmake with him. So he spent all this money and he can't get in a match with anybody.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know. The next year is going to be pretty critical, I think, to like if the industry can course correct. Because we're basically on a cycle of multiplayer, never-ending games, and then a AAA drought. So we need like that Breath of the Wild 2. We need some GTA 6. We need some landmark shit. And I can't say that there haven't been graphical improvements. Like Halo Infinite looks great. Horizon Forbidden West looks great. But like, where's the catalyst to like sell new hardware? Like, we're still not even close. It's crazy.
There's nothing, they've talked about how like the loading stuff was supposed to change games a lot too, but you just don't see that in a, really innovative way.
No. And the thing is like, if it's implemented well, you don't even realize that you don't have it. You know what I mean? Like at the end of it, you're like, holy shit, I just played all that and nothing stopped. But, that's not like an, oh, wow, as it's happening moment either. So,
yeah.
And again, like the whole problem with like PS5 and like Xbox Series, where you're choosing performance versus like visual modes, and like you're just making it so much more situationally relevant to people, and like for sure their TV and their HDMI cable, like it's not this cohesive experience, right? Like nobody's getting the same, like I just played Metal Gear Solid on my 13-inch CRT. Like it's not even that. Like it's so varied. Because there's people out there still playing it on like 720, like terrible refresh rate, like 13-inch or 20-inch, like LCD TVs from 15 years ago, and you're just squandering all of it.
Yeah. Well, and that's probably you're probably sending some of your customers to just finally be like, bite the bullet and be like, get into the PC stuff, because you're kind of making them deal with that type of bullshit that they were trying to avoid.
Yeah.
With settings and choices and stuff like that, where,
yeah, for sure. And between like Steam is maybe as good at it, but like the Epic Store and like, you're like your GeForce Now, like hub and everything, it's pretty easy to launch into a game and play it on PC with minimal issue. So yeah, it's a weird landscape. It almost makes you just want to like go back in your back catalog and be like, I'm good. Like we'll let this pan out over the next few years. And
I just, every corporation now, it's just like so fixated on growth.
Yeah.
And everybody has driven towards subscriptions and recurring revenues and microtransactions, that it's going to be kind of scary, I think, in the next 5 years of what gaming is going to be.
Yeah. And that monetary cost of development to get on a AAA console is almost insurmountable for like a mid tier and certainly for an indie.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're better just target. I mean, look at the flooded release schedule of the Switch. Like, sure, there's a shit ton of garbage, but like, there's 40 new games each month, right?
Yeah.
The same can't be said for everybody else. I mean, Steam, of course, but
that's true. Yeah, there's a higher bar, I guess, for sure.
Well, you can only buy so many indie games, right?
Right. Or want to.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes you want to get more out of something, but isn't it like Assassin's Creed is basically turning into a platform? I think they basically said that this is just going to be a service as well now, where you just buy different piecemeal adventures or whatever.
Yeah. What the hell happened? Like a self-contained like unit of like, we built a experience within the confines but I guess, that doesn't sell. Like it doesn't have legs and, look at the Hitman. Like last 3, right?
Yeah.
Every outlet, every media journalist, everybody in the inside's like, this is incredible. These are experiences 1, 2, and 3. They're just phenomenal. I know personally almost no one that's played them. I own some of them and I've not even gone into them.
I think I played all 3 of them all the way through, but I don't know if I bought any of them.
Yeah, sure, because they were free, right?
Free like different
Epic,
things. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I gotten some of them free. I know I bought the second one on a Black Friday deal for like $5, right? So like I didn't early adopt, and yeah, it's that whole thing. It's like we all do it. We bitch about like, well, I just want this experience, and then when one comes out, we wait till it hits the bargain bin because we're trained to,
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they're like, rough. Oh, I guess nobody wanted that one.
Yeah. This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah. I can talk about how I got screwed on a video game.
Oh.
So this game announced about a little over a year ago, called Demon Throttle.
Okay.
It's a top-down shooter coming out from Devolver.
Okay.
Kind of an
good track record.
Indie kind of style game.
Sure.
The kicker to it was going, on Special Reserve Games, which is a pre-order, one of those bullshit.
I love those companies, especially limited run games who haven't sent me Scott Pilgrim yet. Yeah, that's great. I love that. I love that stuff.
Yep. So this one, it came out and said, it's not coming out digitally. We're not putting this game on any digital storefront. It's only going to be physically Switch.
But they're going to, right?
Not quite. So I pre-ordered it. It was $40. Like a week ago, I got an email saying, hey, we're shipping it, 13 months later or something like that. How all of these companies operate.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I think it was that same day, maybe the day after, they put out a tweet that says, hey, pre-order Demon Throttle for Switch now. Coming out September 30th for Switch. Pre-order now and you get a free download of the I think it's Gato Roboto or something. It's the developer's previous game.
Okay.
So they're putting out another version.
Because what did you reserve it for?
$40.
No. What platform?
Switch. I think it's only going to be on Switch.
Okay, so it's a new version also on the Switch.
Yep. $10 cheaper. You get a free game.
So they butt fucked everybody who So instead of incentivizing everyone who crowdfunded them early on and giving them a digital bonus, they took your money, developed it, and then threw a digital bonus to get additional sales.
Exactly. I just got it today. I haven't opened it up. I haven't seen what it is, but from what I can tell, the difference is maybe a bigger box. It comes with a box
Oh my God.
I think the standard comes with the same stuff, like an instruction manual and stickers and stuff like that. And you get a free download. It's $10 cheaper. And the worst part is, they announce it the same day that it's like, oh, we just shipped out your order.
Oh my God. I hate all these companies. So a little update from me, and I mentioned it, like the Scott Pilgrim thing. So I looked. So what you do if you buy something from Limited Run is you go to their production page just to see how like ass raped you're getting from the company, right? Well, I'm a year and a half, almost 2 years in on Scott Pilgrim. Well, the game's produced, the vinyl soundtrack, because they have to bundle everything. They can't ship it to you individually, God forbid. The vinyl soundtrack that I also ordered is done manufacturing. So in those statuses, that means that they've shipped or are shipping. So that happened quite a while ago. So I finally, again, for the second time over the last 18 plus months, messaged them. I was like, hey, looked at your status page. Both of them say they're manufactured, which should mean I should have a shipping notice and I should be getting that. And they're like, well, funny thing with the vinyl, they couldn't do all of it. So they only gave us 5,000 copies, which covered almost 50%. And they're going to just try and like piecemeal us more as we move forward. Did they tell anyone who pre-ordered that?
No.
Anything? Fuck no. They just put it out there like tweets all over. Hey, shipping now, coming to your house. It's just like, fuck you guys. Like, I hate these companies. And now that they're getting into like shit games, like those LGN games, all of that, it's bullshit. You know, that, what was it? Strictly Limited I ordered from out of Europe. Same bullshit. I waited 9 months longer to get my Bubble Bobble 4 Friends because they're like, we want to wait until all the patches, all the DLCs included. That's the final game. And then a year later, I get an email. Hey, there's more coming. Since you ordered the other one, we'll give you a discount on getting the full final version. And what do? They send me like a postage stamped fucking loose cart in the mail. Like, fuck you. All these companies are bullshit.
Yep.
I understand when like Limited Run came out and they were helping indie developers doing small batch physical releases of games that weren't going to come out, but they shifted from that to just straight publishing. And then they've tipped the scale from that to what I would just call predatory publishing. It's nostalgia, collector's edition publishing for dipshits who will throw money at it knowing that it's limited, even though it sucks, because it might be tied into an IP that is relevant to them or not. But either way, we're doing a small batch number, so buy it as an investment item.
Yeah.
It sucks.
And all those stuff it's stuff that doesn't need to be done. I mean, they were doing Jack and Daxter games as a re-release. It's like those games have been sold millions
hundreds
of times,
of millions of copies.
Different. They did an HD collection of them even, and it's like, what? I don't understand why this is a thing other than we're just trying to take money from people.
Yeah. It's completely lost sight of the preservation aspect and just completely gone to cash grab. And it makes me a little sad, especially with Limited Run, because like Frank Cifaldi's involved in that. And like, I mean, the man does God's work for the most part, but like knowing that he takes money from that company and is involved in any part of their now what I consider shitty business.
Yeah.
Makes me a little bit sad. And your story on this game is just like yet another example of just what the hell? Like, how did it get so wrong in so few years?
I'm almost certain. I'd have to go back and check my emails, but I don't think they marketed this as a collector's edition or a special edition of anything. They marketed it as this is the release.
Yeah, help us fund our indie game, right?
This is our And now it's like, oh, now that one's done, we're shipping them out. We took all your money. Here's this one that has open pre-orders and they're selling it on Amazon for, it's unlimited amount of copies.
Yeah.
Which defeats it's the opposite of what they marketed themselves as. And it's, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, so in the line of this, like, I don't think I brought it up yet, but like I got an email update from that Kickstarter, which Kickstarter is its own demon, right? But like that Pie Packer. So I backed it at like I'll get the ROM dumper like console thing. So I've had access to Pie Packer since it went into beta. I've yet to get on their website and use it, but I did purchase the thing that came with like the console reader, so I could dump my own Super Nintendo and NES ROMs. And basically they sent out an email within the last month and a half that was like, hey, turns out these are really expensive manufacture. We've painted ourselves into a corner. So our options are either never see it to fruition or make you pay more money. We're still debating. I'm like, all right, I'm out. Like I'm out at this point. Like, you got my money. Thanks. We're good. So yeah.
At least with Kickstarter, you know that's the risk. I mean, there's inherent risk to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's still shitty to even have that be like, wow.
Right. And the funny part with that platform is it's like, well, you've already got like bring your own ROMs for other consoles. So even if you don't give me the hardware, at least make it so I can drag and drop my own Super Nintendo and NES ROMs into your platform. Because I don't have to dump it. We've all got other methods. It's fine. Yeah. So yeah.
At this point, it's hard to put any money toward into somebody saying, I'm going to build this hardware thing.
Yeah.
Because it feels like they
But that Amico.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
coming out.
It's just either it's a shitty product if it does come out, or it's just they underestimate how much it takes to produce.
But at least you and I are proud owners of the Atari VCS. So
I got a VCS. I'm an Ouya man myself. So
dude, I've been watching Ouya videos lately, and like it really makes me mad that I didn't buy one on clearance at Target for like $60 now that it's all like free, open to play. And it's like, yeah, it'd be worth it. I mean, maybe I don't need it, but for $60, it would have been all right.
I don't know.
Although you wonder how long that's going to go, right? Like, how long is a guy going to be like the private runner of a open source server for all? Well, I mean, granted, they made 200,000 Ouyas, so there's probably like, what, 5,000 people using them still? But if that, maybe it's 100. Maybe I'm being, but that's not going to last forever, because the whole problem with the Ouya is like it needs the online check-in, and once that guy's server is down,
then it's toast. Yeah,
it's gone. Maybe he'll be kind enough though to like patch it out when he's like, all right, we're calling it a day.
Yeah.
Which it blows my mind that the people who were hosting it before couldn't do that, right? You have until this date to download this patch or install it on a USB thumb drive, or it's bricked. And they're like, nah, we'll just fuck you.
Yeah.
We'll fuck everybody.
Yeah, that mine's gas to, it's probably just the color of dust at this point.
Did you really get into it at all, or were you just more kind of like curiosity?
It was more a curiosity. I didn't even go through with most of the emulation stuff, which was the stuff that really got my attention when they, initially pitched it. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I don't know. Emulating on my TV is just still not that much of a better experience than even on my computer,
Right.
So
did you buy Towerfall though?
I don't remember if I got it on there or not. I would imagine if that was the thing, that was the one thing to get.
Yeah. I like how they've pitched that though, is like, that was the success story of the Ouya, and it sold 7,000 copies. It's like, oh, that's really sad.
Yeah, I think that was like wasn't the story or something where the developer had to beg for them to be like, can you please release us from our exclusivity deal? Because this is going to kill us. It picked
up steam other places. I own a copy, and it's like, yeah, that's a really fun multiplayer retro style game. But yeah. Speaking of disappointments, I mean, you're aware you're in the Midwest, not far from me, and there's nothing more exciting to Midwesterners than fast food chains that don't exist here opening here. It's like the second coming of Christ as far as Midwesterners are concerned. So we had this little chain restaurant open, which I believe opened exclusively in North Dakota before Minnesota, which is, that's saying something. That's a burn on you, Minnesota. So Slim Chickens opens, right? If you're not familiar, I don't know. It's like a Chick-fil-A Raising Cane type place. They got boneless wings. They got chicken strips. They got chicken sandwiches. They got a bunch of sauces, right? So it opens here. So usually that means in my area, you might as well pretend it doesn't exist for about 2 months. It's been open 3 weeks now. So I get a wild hair up my butt and I was like, they got a good online website. They got curbside pickup. I'm like, how bad could this be? I'm a guy who takes early lunches. Like I'm at 11:30. I'm eating lunch. So I'm like, I'll pick up a family pack. I'll get a bunch of chicken strips, bring it home for the kids, surprise everybody. So I put in this order and they're like, all right, your order's going to be ready at 11:29 a.m. And I got the family pack, which was supposed to be, I think 16 chicken strips, 2 sides. So I chose mac and cheese, potato salad. And then it was supposed to come with some sauces and a side of Texas toast, right? So I'm like, whatever. Comes to $38. I'm like, all right, I'll drive down there. It's like not that far from my office. So I go there. I get there at, according to my car, 11:32. So I'm 3 minutes past this time I'm supposed to pick up my order. And it's the typical shit. You pull in. You got an email. It says, hey, hit the button that says you're here. Punch in the number on the post in front of you that says what number you're at. We'll run your food right out, right? So I do that. And it's new. Like I mentioned, second coming of Christ. So it's busy. I wait a little bit. I'm a Midwestern guy. So I give it the Midwestern nice, like 15 minutes. And then I was like, well, it's still not here. So I call them. I was like, hey, I'm just checking. I know you guys just opened. Are you doing the curbside? Because I've been here for 15 minutes. And he's like, well, yeah, we are. I was like, what's your name? I give him my name. I hear some talking, blah, 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 blah. Oh, we'll have it right out, right? So they run it out. Now it's been 20 minutes, and they bring me out my bag of food, and they hand it to me. And I'm like, all right, thanks, see ya. And that bag it's clearly been sitting there the entire 20 minutes and been ready. And the inside of the bag is so full of moisture and condensation from the residual heat of the food that was once warm in there that it's just wet. And the container at the bottom is the chicken strip box. You know, it's like anything, like a hamburger box or like Buffalo Wild Wings box. And it is just soaked and crumpled in on the chicken. And then they felt the need to stack the mac and cheese on top of that. And then the potato salad. I was like, oh, and I'm pissed. But I'm like, I gotta go. I just wasted half an hour of my hour lunch. I gotta get this home to my family. I get home, pull the soggy ass order out. Chicken strips are like maybe lukewarm. They're soggy. The box is disgusting. The macaroni and cheese is like meh warm. But luckily the potato salad had heated up, so that's a bonus. And then they didn't give me my Texas toast. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, you had one job. All you had to do was walk it out to me. I selected curbside. I hit your app. The least you could have done was been like, oh, we effed up. Give us 5 minutes. We'll do a new fresh order, right? Because they're just slopping mac and cheese. They're just slopping potato salad. Yep. Could have done fresh strips. They didn't even bother. And I'm just like, what the frick? Because it never fails. And I've accepted my lot in life that if I'm going to go out and eat anywhere, anytime, if the order can get fucked up in any way, small or significant, it's going to happen to me because it always does. But I'm just like, man, all you had to do was walk it 20 feet. Like, if I'd have known you guys were going to suck this bad at curbside, I would have just gone like store pickup. I could have walked my fat ass over there and like gotten that.
Just got it. Yeah.
Yeah, instead I get this like $40 sad meal. I'm rushing home, shoveling down chicken strips that taste like shit, and then like rushing back to the office. So, Slim Chickens, you suck.
No, I don't know.
First,
so Popeye's closed, right?
Did they?
Did they close up there or no?
I don't know if they did, but the one in Fargo was awful. It was always awful.
Okay.
They may not have, but I'm not sure.
Huh.
Yeah.
Fargo is not the chicken hub of the United States.
No, we're not doing well. We're not doing well at all. So, yeah. But what are you going to do? I'm the type of person that I give I give something like that one experience. Like, they will never get my money again until I'm dead. So somebody takes me out to dinner there and pays for it, fine. But yeah, I'm a bitter middle-aged son of a bitch. So
yep.
I can get a chicken strip at a gas station. Fuck you. I don't even like potato salad. Yeah. So that was my fun. And then, followed by getting back to work and I told someone I was going. So he got back from lunch and I was like, yeah, fucking, just me going off for 20 minutes on what a place, how much they sucked. And the next person asked. So it took up a good portion of my afternoon and how bitter I am at this fucking chicken fast food place.
Yeah.
Because I can't just let it go,
It's deeply, and it's like it's a core memory at this point.
Right. At this point, I might as well tattoo their logo on my arm and put an X across it. Because, it's just part of who I am. It's my identity. So that's the other part of Midwesterners. In addition to loving fast food, we just can't, hold a grudge like no other. So.
Yeah. We'll give you time. We'll give you 20 minutes to make, just to see if you screw up. But if you
that Hitler guy, we all still hate him. He's been dead forever, but we can't let it go. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, gas station, just the roaster chicken at any local gas station.
What is it about Midwest rotisserie chicken? Yeah. Or the deep fried chicken. Yeah. You walk in, it's just delicious, isn't it?
Yep.
You don't even know you want it until you see it.
Yep. You want potato salad? It's right there in the cooler. Just go get it.
So good. And you want a cold milk to wash that down because it's the Midwest? We got you. Do you think it's a Midwest thing or do you think that's like a 55 and older thing? Because I feel like I don't see anyone other than my parents drinking milk with dinner anymore.
That's true. I don't drink much milk anymore.
Well, I'm lactose intolerant, so I shouldn't.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
I still, occasionally, yeah. Shouldn't is the key point. Yep. Yeah. That's good. I feel like that's dying, but.
Yep.
Yeah.
The dairy industry.
Chicken. Yeah.
Cheese, though. We're making up for it in cheese. So.
Yeah. You gotta watch over big cheese, though. They're taking over.
Yep.
I did buy, in more logical news, I did buy some new shelves for my game room finally. And I think we talked about it. Well, we definitely talked about it many episodes ago on the podcast, getting back from Midwest Gaming Classic and the horror of my flooded game room. I basically couldn't bring myself to be down here following that, just out of sheer disappointment. And I left it as the shattered tomb of a Egyptian pharaoh. But my wife finally convinced me that I should pick up the pieces, and I bought some shelves and moved all my NES boxes in. I had a bunch in storage in the garage. I had some I bought off Biff, put some shelves up, put them in, extended about 4 feet past the point where I said my game room would never extend, but I can live with that. And I now have this beautiful wall as I walk downstairs that just has virtually every NES box through the console's life cycle in immediate view. And it looks good. A bunch of accessory boxes too, like the Game Genie Vantage controller, the power pad, the U-Force. I'm kind of reclaiming my game room again. It's almost usable. It's almost back. That's
a powerhouse of a shelf. When you look at that thing, it's oh, wow. That's
yeah. But it's almost I have a problem. I have all this cardboard from 1985. What's wrong with me?
Yeah, but it's not just, I don't know. It's not just random games on a shelf either, At least it's something kind of focused and museum-like quality.
Yeah, it is true. It is museum-ish, yeah. I got one more shelf to put up just to get stuff off the ground a couple inches just to be safe. God forbid it happens again. But yeah, it's kind of cool to see because even though I started out like I'm an NES collector, like I never thought I'd have the boxes, like the consoles like that, right? Like that just was never in my mind that I would have, and it's pretty fucking sweet. The only thing that's really irritating is the power set with the power pad and the deluxe set with the Rob. I made the boneheaded assumption measuring the power set box that it was the exact same size as the deluxe set with the Rob. It's not. It's like an inch and a half different. So I set that shelf up and was like, fuck. So then I had to like build another shelf underneath with more room. But luckily the U-Force is taller anyway, so it worked out. But
sure.
Yeah. It hadn't crossed my mind that would be any bigger. But
yeah, they probably weren't thinking about shit like that at that point.
This, we're gonna fuck collectors over in 2022. I'm gonna make this box a little bit weird. Yeah, pretty happy with it. So now, really, all I have to do is get rid of my last few totes of random shit. Continue to sell off the stuff that I pulled out of here, and then I think my Switch collection's gonna get like a proper shelf because I've kind of neglected the Switch collection, and my kid is like run wild with games. They're all over the house. I can't deal. So I'm going to have to rein that in.
Yeah. That's, Switch games are a problem in this house too, where, my kid, for his Switch, he has a little case, little zip up case with the little red, things that you put the cartridges in.
Fall out and disappear with multiple games very easily.
Yep. Or, they'll take games off the shelf, my games off the shelf, and then put them in that thing. And then his games are in other cases. And it's, oh my gosh. I
still can't explain what happened to R-Type Final 2. So I have the disc because I pulled it out of my PS4. I have the box with the added like art book. I have no idea what happened to the case. And like my kid wouldn't have touched it. I have no idea what I did with this. I've gone through my whole game room. I can't find it. So yeah, it's pissing me off. But yeah, the Switch stuff is tough with kids because it's so easy to lose. And like, yeah, like you said, like the case juggling. And I'm pretty sure my son's still traumatized from the lecture he got for losing my Breath of the Wild the first time.
Yeah.
And me like raiding his piggy bank and being like, this is a lesson. I'm going to Best Buy. $50 is gone.
We kind of had a situation like that just yesterday.
Oh,
where they had a Lego Mario out on the kitchen table for whatever reason, not on their Lego table. And it was during breakfast, and they didn't drink their milk out of their bowl yet. And Mario went flying in the air, landed right in the milk.
Oh no.
And it was my son it wasn't his Mario. So he was playing with his brother's Mario. So there was a huge fight between brothers, and it was an ugly scene. And I was not happy. We tried to figure out what we're going to do with this thing. It's not like just water where you just let it dry out, you would think, because it's milk.
I mean, I've played that level of Mario Odyssey, and he seemed fine as long as you get him out of the stew fast enough.
Yep. So we put him on the vent, let him dry out for a day or whatever. Halfway through the day, I look at it. There's still like milk on the screen. I'm like, this is toast. This is not going to work.
Right.
Tried it this morning. Worked like a charm. No problems. No problem whatsoever.
It's a me, milk you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's impressive, though.
I could not believe it.
Like, hats off to Lego and Nintendo on that.
Yeah, because you can take the back off. I mean, you take his little pants off, and then you take the battery door. But other than that, you can't take anything else apart on that thing without breaking it.
Right.
So the milk.
I'm almost surprised you didn't
still in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm almost surprised you didn't like dunk it in water to somewhat clean it out first. Yeah. Not that it would have made it any better, but yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I guess I had my daughter wash her 2DS in the sink at 2 years old, and that thing is still to this day works. The only thing that broke is the ribbon cable for the IR camera that I broke when I was drying it out. But
sure.
So do you guys Do you guys still buy those, or did you mostly like get them when they were cheap? And like, do you have the Luigi's and the Princess?
No, we haven't gotten any of those. My son wants the Luigi one for his birthday. So
I was going to say that's the big debate here is like the Luigi starter set, not so great, but the Luigi's Mansion set, that's hard not to kind of be like, I want that.
Yep.
So
yeah, and it stops situations like this where one kid is trying to play with the other kid's stuff. So
yeah. Well, it's nice too when our kids are finally at the age where you can be like, all right, here's my phone. Like, go through the instructions, and you don't have to like essentially do that for them. Because that was my biggest problem when my son first got him a couple of years ago. Was like, all right, we both have to be present because he's clearly not getting this. But for the first time in forever, he dove into like his like 6 or 7 unopened ones the other weekend and did a full one by himself. He was like super proud of it. And he did the one where he did like the hammock and like Yoshi in the house. And
oh, nice. Yeah.
Pretty cool. We still have Bowser's Castle to build though too, which is going to be a bitch.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. I'm amazed at what that thing is, but at the same time, I'm not sure the legs on it.
It's not fun as a toy, right? Like even my kid is like, all right, you bounce it a couple times. Like it's cool, but like,
yeah, you can build a level, but it's not like it's cool to build the level.
Right.
But you're not getting anything else from the electronics. I don't think like,
no,
I don't give a shit
like
how many coins I got.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like it would only be like amazing if you had like a basement with an old pool table that nobody's using, and like the pool table becomes Mario World, like permanently.
Yep.
Because even my kid, it's like, all right, we have to disassemble these to some extent because they have to go back into a cupboard somewhere, and they never come back out. They really just don't. But I guess at least it succeeds in like spurring kids' creativity to some extent while they're building it. Whether or not they continue to use it, I don't know.
Yep. Speaking of Lego, so we downloaded this game on Game Pass called Escape Academy.
Okay.
Which is kind of a game where you go to a university school because you're really good at escaping escape rooms.
I hate this game already.
Yeah, exactly. It's your perfect style of game that you're really into. But it's very much just that. It's, digital escape rooms.
Okay.
And you can do them co-op. So my son has been getting into that and working with us. It's kind of cool seeing him trying to do, the wheel spinning in his head, trying to figure this stuff out, because a lot of that stuff is kind of esoteric and just kind of like,
for sure,
there's nothing in the world that you use on a daily basis that would make you think of some of the things in those type of game, rooms. But anyway, he's been kind of obsessed with escape rooms, and now he is designing escape rooms with his Legos.
Oh,
yeah. And
with
some
Mario?
Of it, not Mario so much, but a lot of other, Harry Potter and what other Spider-Man and all those guys that he has. But he'll design some elaborate stuff, and it's always like, you're in danger, you're going to die if this Lego doesn't, figure out the way out of this thing. And then he'll present it in front of you immediately and be like, okay, this guy's going to die. Figure out what all of this stuff is.
Dude, that's pretty awesome.
It's really cool, but it's kind of scaring because I'm not sure if my son's turning into Jigsaw or what.
Yeah. Have you succeeded in solving his puzzles? I'm curious.
He's had to prompt me a lot because the thing about
you can only do so much with Legos, right?
Yeah, the thing about video games is you can make them look exactly how you want them to look. Legos, it's you got to use your imagination, and that's pretty tough to do when you're trying to figure out to solve the problem.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
Yeah,
that's neat.
Yeah, he's really gotten into that type of stuff.
Have you taken him to an actual escape room yet? That's the next thing.
No, I think that'll probably be one of the next things.
Next time you guys are in Fargo, that Kingpins, you'll have to check it out. You'll have 4 choices to choose from. So,
yeah, I think he'd probably enjoy that a lot.
Yeah,
but he definitely likes the making the escape room stuff. So either he turns into that, where he's trapping people.
Have you introduced him to Tecmo's deception yet? Because he might really get into that.
He might really get into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even more worrisome than, like trapping and killing people. I'm worried that he might get into like D&D where he's like a, dungeon master. So
yeah. What's weird is like after that last Stranger Things episode or season, I think like my entire family was like D&D. And my wife's even like, have you ever played that? I'm like, we're not going down this rabbit hole. Like,
not again.
Like, I understand the appeal. Like, we're not doing this. Like, it's not going to work out as a family. It's going to be fights. Like, it feels awkward to me. Like, we're not going to do it. Yeah. No. It'd be sweet if your kid was like a sweet dungeon master though. And we're just like, I don't understand what's happening, but
just go for it. Yeah. For as much of a nerd as I've been my whole life, I'm surprised that I've never just happened into a D&D game at some point. But
I think it's like that weird cross section of like, you need to be a nerd and also not introverted, like horribly. And like,
yeah,
that's a line that like that, those things tend to cross over more often than not. And I think that's why I've never done it either. It's just like, oh, I have to like fantasy role play in front of other people in my head. And like, no, like nope.
I'm just trying to keep myself together.
Yeah. Like I can barely formulate the thoughts in my own head. Like this isn't happening. Yeah. If you can find that, like, and if you can hit that right personality chord of like awesomely nerdy and not embarrassed or like hindered by it, like that's a good chord to strike.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun, but
we need more Eddies in the world.
Yes.
Speaking we need of that, more sixth year seniors.
Maybe we can wait till next week, but I finally finished that. I finished that.
Okay.
Stranger Things, and yeah, we definitely need more Eddie. But
it's quite the finale, right?
Yeah.
I still think Eddie's coming back. I think Vecna is going to bring him back, and I think Eddie is going to be a minion of darkness. And then I think he'll get a redemption arc where he still has the willpower to turn on Vecna and becomes part of the final story. It's my guess.
Sure. I could see that.
Because like he's the guy who did it once before, right? So
yeah,
he can do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what a cliffhanger, right? Like, so what did you think? Like, would you rank that season like pretty high?
So it ended pretty well. The only thing I didn't like about this season is everything was so segregated. Everybody was in such different spots, and that you really only wanted to see if there was one part of the story that was really interesting you, you hated the other parts because you just wanted to get back to the other ones.
And the sad part was it was the stuff with 11 that you didn't care about, right?
Right.
Which is the main point of the other seasons.
Yeah. And I totally called what all of that was about in the first place. So I knew, I kind of figured that out way ahead of where that was going. But
yeah, it was kind of easy to pick up on like the Vecna undertones. And like, I mean, the way it happened, you maybe didn't know, but you knew.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. All that time in Russia, you saw those trailers and you're like, oh, that's probably like an episode or two of them getting back or something like that.
Right.
No, it's the entire season. It's like, oh, okay. Well,
and that's the one storyline, like, well entertaining. I hated because like there is no necessary payoff for it. Because you're like, we have to attack them here to help the kids. And like, you see things happening and the kids winning, but it's kind of, I mean, I guess they didn't say there was no correlation, but it's pretty clear that there's zero correlation between anything they did and helping the other kids back in like, the town. So it was like, all right, it was like a weird love story with a comedic relief that didn't need to be in there, but I don't know. But the acting was so good. Like the new comedic relief characters, all of it was just.
Yeah, they pretty much nailed all the new people. All the new characters are pretty good. Yeah.
Because I mean, they were really going for like the Hellraiser, like Friday the 13th, and before Elm Street vibe, and they just more so than any other genre in horror that they've tried to ape, they nailed this one. Like, pretty much spot on.
Yeah, good. I would agree with that. It'll be interesting the last season. It'll be pretty good.
I still drastically disagree with using Metallica as the guitar solo, but that's just me not liking Metallica.
Oh, I like that part quite a bit, but it is funny.
Have you seen people that are like doing the math where they're like, that album came out like 1 month prior to the date, and then like, how did Eddie memorize this entire guitar solo? And it's like, oh my God, let's just not ruin this. It's a dumb show.
Right. Well, I mean, how can you take it seriously when the guy's like, you got 20 seconds left, and he's like, well, I better whip out the solo quick.
Right. Yeah, we're going to take all these batteries and make a big amp stack. And
it definitely feels old. It makes you feel old though, when it's like, oh wow, the kids are getting into, are discovering Metallica. Like, oh right. No.
Yeah. They've made metal cool again. Did you watch any of the behind the scenes? That actor, like apparently he's played guitar his whole life, and like he actually memorized the best of his ability, like that whole solo.
Oh, cool.
So I guess aside from like some intricate like picking scenes, like it's all him. Like he's actually playing it.
Played it. Wow.
Accurately. So I guess he had to play with, or I don't know if he played with Metallica yet, but he's already met Metallica since, because like Metallica's in love with this shit, of course. But
yeah, because probably the most relevant money
Metallica's been in 5 years. So now they can sell more Target t-shirts to the Kardashians.
Either that, or they did it without asking Metallica, and then Metallica sued them. So now they're all
Lars is real pissed.
Yep. They're forever attached to him now.
That's a meme somebody should make, is just Lars burning like stacks of like Stranger Things DVDs. Like, no. Oh God. Yeah. No, it's such a show that like I had such high hopes for, and it just let me down every time. That when season 4 came around, they're just like, all right, like, yeah, they still got it. So, but it is weird that, like you mentioned, like those divergent storylines, which are there for a reason, obviously, because it was filmed during the pandemic, but it really does kind of like, you go from like, all right, this is the piece I want to see, to like, I'm bored. Like, let's get past it. I think it's hilarious too, because like the Surfer Boy pizza that they put out at Walmart, that you could buy, it had like the punch out like grid goggles to put on your eyes. Well, they were selling it from the launch of the series, season 4. And it's like, well, it was like 2 months later that it came out, and you realized like the one scene that was in. So the whole time, like we had bought them the first time, it's like, why are these weird? Like, why can't I see through the glasses? Like, why is it cardboarded out? And then you realize it like way too late. So, I don't know.
Which those get immediately soggy wet as soon as you get hopped in there.
Yes.
In the water. But
I'm curious, like, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it, but what is your take? I debate on this. I think Biff and his wife debate on this. Is the final scene of 11 going into the void signifying that the other chick is dead, or that she's simply brain dead? I vote, and I think Biff does too, that she's deceased. She passed away. But do you think that just means that she's currently brain dead and has a chance to come back?
Boy.
Because I feel like they tried to end it on like a down note. Like everything was kind of like, we're crumbled, but we're together. And then she's like the void.
But there's nothing there. Yeah.
Like Max is dead. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I just assume that she's just, in a coma, that she can't reach them at this point. But yeah, I could see it. I mean, they almost went all the way. It's weird that they just didn't do it if they were going to do that. But
right. Yeah. Cripple a teenager and make her blind. And
yeah.
I don't know. I'm still sticking by she's dead, but maybe she's not. I don't know.
I did love that scene where they just basically ripped that guy in half.
The jock. Yeah.
Yeah. Out of just give him no time. No screen time. Yeah. It was just like, we're ripping you in half and we're moving on.
Yep. I love that too. Like sticking with the trope of like every horror movie in the 80s and 90s, early 90s, of like every jock with Letterman's jacket is just a sociopath that is on a murderous fucking tirade, like fucking his cheerleader girlfriend and like killing everybody else for no reason. because daddy owns the car lot. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it was almost hard to watch. That scene was for sure hard to watch. But yeah, I still don't like the 3 approaching Vecna, because like it's proven how powerful he is. So like I just don't buy the fact that like a guy who's already been burned, you throw a Molotov cocktail on him and like he didn't have the ability to just like insta fucking mind kill you. Like that, I think that's bullshit. But and then the whole point of like giving the 70-pound girl who soaking wet like the sawed-off shotgun, and like that didn't kick back on her at all. Like, come on. Like first shot, the thing was like smoking off her forehead, and she was done for. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm curious. Like, I wonder how much Netflix is giving them for a budget on season 5, because it's going to have to be just outrageous.
Mm-hmm. I just hope they have it written and they know where it's going, and not some.
Or at least a loose outline, right? Because they're going to have to adjust it based on like these characters being at least 2 years older, if not more than they had anticipated from the time they set out at it. It's
going to be graduation time, right? Or
right, but they're going to be like 35. Yeah. It's good. I'm bummed that it's 2025 though, right? Like we need to wait.
Jeez.
Like, is it 2025, I think.
Wow.
Or 4.
Wow.
No, maybe, I don't know. Either way, it's at least 2 years.
How much of that is just Netflix? Like, we need you to stay a subscriber for at least 2 more years.
Right. Dude, I keep going on that same argument with my wife. I was like, if there's one subscription service we don't need, it's Netflix. I'm like, I understand there are things you watch on Netflix. We can subscribe for 2 months out of the year. I'm like, we'll do June and December. Watch whatever you want, but let's get rid of it. Because like I've been doing inventory, and it's like, man, we got that. We got Paramount. We got HBO, Philo, the Hulu Disney bundle. Because I made the argument that the Hulu Disney bundle is the best like gamble, like as far as content. And then I was like, we can get rid of everything else. Just go YouTube. We got a Plex server we got access to. We're good. But I can't win that argument. It's something that just Netflix has lasted so long that she can't not just click on it, I think.
And just see what's on there. Yeah.
Right. Shit's what's on there most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be the first one to go for us, I think, too. I think my wife would probably agree to that. It's just one of those things that we haven't done.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to get rid of it. It just simply isn't worth the money. Like not for the course of a year. You know what I mean? It's worth $60 a year. It's not worth, well, maybe not. No, it's worth $30 a year, 2 months. It's not worth more than that. Especially
if they're going to start charging me for my mom that uses it like once a month.
Yes, that whole geocoding thing is bullshit. Yes. I mean, they have a point, but still, come on.
You can't raise your business. You can't do growth of your business on that fact, knowing that that's happening, and then one day being like, oh, we're going to crack down.
Plus, in a world where VPNs exist, like, who are you to tell me where my IP is coming from?
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. It's bullshit. Yeah. I don't know, man. Well, with that, I guess we could probably wrap it up.
Yeah, we can. I can do that.
Nice.
So, we'd love to hear from you. If you got a message, if you have an opinion on what the ending of Stranger Things season 4 it means, we'd like to hear your opinion. Our email is weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. So just shoot us a message over there and we'll for sure read it. We're also on Facebook, Twitter. That's about it. And
YouTube's.
Yeah, definitely check out our YouTube, which we just hit a milestone that we were just celebrating earlier. So
100 subscribers. So we got a custom URL, everybody. It's YouTube/C/Weekend Rental, which is kind of easy to remember. I don't know. Or if you just listen to this audio version, there's no reason to go over there, but you could.
You could. I mean, if you want to listen to us in a video format, semi-video format.
Right.
You could.
We have endless loops of weird GIFs we've made, so it's great.
You could waste your bandwidth on
on your work computer. Yeah. That's what we're made for.
Yeah. But with that, I guess I'll say, be kind, rewind.
Fuck Slim Chickens.
Cancel Nets. Subscribe to YouTube. Cancel Netflix.